Bond. The fun thing about getting a new Bond movie is not just who's going to be playing him, but also who's going to be doing the song. Bond themes are such an interesting time capsule. I think the main one that I personally go back to is just You Know My Name. But like, Skyfall was big for a reason. What was it? Live and Let Die has stood the test of time. Even if I'm not that crazy about them personally, it's still fun to look back and be like, who was popular at the time? Who did they get to do a Bond theme? Like, Aha did a Bond theme. I think that one was one that I liked, maybe. I don't know. Now I'm fuzzy on it, but there's a lot of Bond themes out there. So while I'm interested, because of that sort of time capsule element, I'm also a little bit anxious. I'm not that familiar with popular artists, right? I don't know how creative the studios would try to be. I don't really want to live in a world where you get like Imagine Dragons or Sabrina Carpenter to do a Bond theme. That being said, though, it could also be completely out of left field to have one of the indie rock artists that I do like do a Bond theme. Nevertheless, that is what I think of when I try to think of who do I want to do a new Bond theme. The first batch of artists that popped into my head were ones that I thought like had done songs that sounded a little bit Bond-ish already, such as Saint Motel.
Now let's begin. You're in too deep to go back again.
Or Mother Mother.
I'm looking at the past. Something about my family.
TV on the Radio. And I filmed that before I saw Spider-Man. Honestly, if you were to go back in time and change it so that instead of Adele, we got Florence and the Machine's Skyfall, I don't know that we would really be able to tell that much of a difference. I'm not very good at gauging the zeitgeist, though, like knowing who is or is not on the radar as far as popular music. As I was thinking up this list, Spotify actually just out of the blue recommended a song that I had never heard of, but in my struggle to think of a female artist that like had the kind of the power that you would want in a Bond theme, this artist just came in and jumped to the top of my list. So I do have a sort of top 5. It's not specifically in an order. It's just I have 5 artists that I'm like, I feel like these are a little bit more realistic. Like, if you were to find popular artists that are in the zeitgeist that I think could actually still work for a new Bond, it's like, this is why I go with these 5. Maybe I'm just insane. Maybe this just shows how out of touch I am. But, like, I think, depending on the direction, you know, and any artist that does a Bond will usually have like the producers guide them, you know. It's not just them doing the Bond theme. It gets Bondified along the way because it's basically its own genre at this point, just what a Bond theme is supposed to sound like. So yeah, I guess here's my top 5 of sorts of artists that I think could do the new Bond theme. Number 4. Wait, what? I started with 4? Number 5. 21 Pilots is basically the best case scenario for if you're doing Gen Z Bond, right? Because that's what everyone fears. Are they going to give us Bond for the modern audience? Are they going to give us a Bond that is like a strong feminist ally and always asks for consent? Are they going to give us a Bond that has a panic attack? We need to see James Bond struggle with his emotions more than Daniel Craig did. I don't really have a dog in this fight, personally. I just don't want Bond to be boring, I guess. I want them to do something flashy with it. That being said, though, if you are doing, like, the modern Bond, basically 21 Pilots is just on this list because they're the most popular band that I am actually somewhat familiar with, at least in the modern era. Back in the day, I listened to Imagine Dragons when they were the fresh new thing, but they are not anymore. So, 21 Pilots it is. I am being serious though. It's like they did a song for Suicide Squad 10 years ago, so not the best resume, but if you took that song and told me this is a Bond theme, I would buy that, honestly.
Please don't forget, all my friends are heathens, taking slow.
You could make that work if you are doing the modern mental health Bond. There's far worse that you could do than 21 Pilots. But, number 4, swinging in the opposite direction, I'm honestly shocked that U2 hasn't done a Bond thing. I mean, I think they haven't. Let me double check that. If they had, I would have listened to it. But it's so crazy. This is actually the first time that I'm Googling it, because I'm just like, I would know if U2 did a Bond theme, but it seems weird that they haven't. Like, they can rock. They can be dramatic. They've been on soundtracks before. They won an Oscar? That's another thing I need to Google. U2 wrote GoldenEye, but Tina Turner performed it. A raw demo of Bono's vocals exists.
With a golden eye, I'll find his weakness.
Shows what I know. So what I'm hearing is that you need to bring them back. And they've been nominated for an Oscar twice, but have not won. Okay. Little fact checking there, but you get my point. I don't know if that disqualifies them, but I mean, come on, they didn't actually do, like, you could still get them. That would tell me what direction you're going, I feel. Like what I said with 21 Pilots, is like, that would be the best case scenario if you are doing Gen Z Bond. If you announce that someone like U2 is doing the Bond theme, they're a classic rock act. That's not something that a studio would chase if they're just like, oh, what's popular with the kids these days? You'd have my interest then, if you did that. Speaking of which, I am not a Nine Inch Nails guy, but even I got hyped when I found out that they were doing the score for Tron Ares. Unfortunately, they were doing the score for Tron Ares. So I'd like to try and redeem some of that hype by having them not only do a Bond theme, but also just score the movie as well. This would make the most sense if we were getting a Fincher Bond, which would honestly also catch my attention way more than the Dune guy. He's a good director, obviously. But I just feel like we're still chasing the Skyfall clout. Like, Skyfall happened, and then ever since then, everybody just wants another Skyfalls. And I feel like you get Villeneuve, and you're just looking for another Skyfall. But we've seen Skyfall. Skyfall was good, but we've seen that. I want some more pizzazz. I want to know that you're doing something. I want some energy. Reznor's an established film score composer. It doesn't seem that far-fetched. I would say that maybe it would be a little bit different for like a hard rock band to do a Bond theme. But then again, like I said, my favorite Bond song is You Know My Name, and that was from a hard rocker, so it's not out of the question. There's precedent for it.
Give me something to believe in. All these hands have got a hold on me.
Number 2, which was originally my number 1, before, like I said, there was a brand new song that just came on my radar that I was like, oh, well, that's a Bond theme right there. So, that's number 1, and this is number 2. And it is Nothing But Thieves. I am not engaged enough with pop culture to know exactly like how popular or indie they are, but at least within the realm of the people that know that they're a thing, they seem to be pretty popular. And they're British, so I feel like that gives them maybe a little bit of an edge as far as like doing a Bond thing. And they've got the vibe. The similar to 21 Pilots, but I think leveled up a notch. This is like if you're doing the modern kind of mental health Bond, like this is kind of the best case scenario. I don't see how you would go wrong with a Nothing But Thieves Bond theme. Kind of like U2, they can be rockin', they can be dramatic. They have been on a couple of soundtracks here and there, I think. So just do that. So now, what is this mysterious artist that just randomly came on my radar? Well, I was mulling over like who could be a Bond artist, and I was listening to an album kind of unrelated to that, but just within my usual Spotify listenings. That album finished, and then the recommended songs started playing, and the first one that Spotify loaded up was Little by Little by A.A. Williams. And I'm like, is this not just a Bond theme? So who is this artist? Well, her earlier stuff is more moody, piano-driven indie stuff. Then she had a cover album where she covered some songs by The Cure. I think it was the lead singer of The Cure got a hold of her because she covered his songs and helped produce her new album, which has more of an industrial rock vibe. So she has connections, right? She's on the rise. Seems still to be fairly lesser known, but this would be a good opportunity to like find your new Adele type performer. So there's my list. This has been a random guy's opinions on who should do the new Bond theme. Take that as you will. What are your opinions on who should do the new Bond theme? Go forth and discuss.